Oh, Jesus. It's like you're trying to put your head in my lap.
I'm not.
Well,
especially with all your bruised legs. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Brianna.
Welcome to the 30th podcast. What? I'm glad that you are here today,
That's what
Shay.
I mean. Because I almost wasn't.
Shay almost wasn't with us this week.
No.
She almost ghosted us.
For reals.
If you will. And we're going to tell you why. Welcome to the show. Welcome to podcast. To 30 podcast.
Just podcast in general.
Podcasts.
Just podcasts in general. Yes.
We're Shay and Bree.
Yep.
Still.
Bree and Shay.
We're still here.
Yep. Not like a ghost of me. So
no. So yeah. So if you guys live in the Fort Collins area,
or
you
any
might have seen
area with a river,
or any area with a river, you might have seen. If you're especially in Fort Collins, you might have seen a little newspaper article about maybe, some 3 rescues in a river this week. Well, one of those rescues in the river was our own Miss Shay.
It was. I made some poor choices. But we're going to...
And
I knew better. My gut was telling me, and... my gut was telling me, no, don't get in that river, and I did anyway, because I was trying to just, I don't know, I was being dumb, so...
She was thinking she was being a wuss by not trusting her instincts, but really
I trusted a boy's instincts instead, and...
you gotta trust your own!
You have to. So anyway, so I almost drowned, but I didn't, so PSA, wear a fucking life vest. And the other PSA, just don't get in the goddamn river when there's white water. I knew better. I'm sorry.
But you didn't, you had never known, and you were trusting who brought you up there to do that.
I understand that, but still, I knew better in my gut of guts, and I did not listen. So that was, I take responsibility for that.
And her heart of hearts.
But thank God I'm a savvy swimmer, or I probably would have been with the angels.
Yeah, her guardian angels were with her this week.
They stuck out a little branch, and I grabbed a hold of it.
Literally, Shay was holding on to, branches.
Yeah.
And giant weeds that held her somehow.
Yeah.
The fuck?
Yeah, drowning I feel like would be a horrible way to go, because
drowning would be the
as I was starting to
worst.
drown, it wasn't fun.
So,
it wasn't fun.
So wait, what did the ambulance people? What the fuck?
EMS?
EMTs, what did they,
Gross.
They said you were, dry drowning?
I dry drowned a little bit in the pooter, because, again, it was bad. Hi, Mackenzie. Look, she's here for my story about how I almost died. It's great.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Anyway, so, so I dry drowned a little bit. That just means, I didn't, obviously, I think it's just when you get water in your lungs and your lungs kind of close up. So it gets
Jesus
stuck.
fucking Christ.
I can't really remember the whole thing because I was a little in shock. So, but anyway, kids, don't boys just listen to your fucking gut.
Mm-hmm. And so if you read an article and you're by Fort Collins and you saw that some people got rescued, one of those,
it was me.
Miss Shay.
I became one of those girls. So,
my sister-in-law's here.
Oh, good.
Hello. But yeah, so that's how we wanted to. So
that was my little adventure. So just wear a vest.
Yeah, wear a life vest, and also don't go in if there's white water, people.
Not even for a date.
No, not even for a date. And if you're trying to impress someone by bringing them into white water,
go fuck yourself.
Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Use your gut instincts. Anyway. So, that
was our little PSA for the
That was opening. Our one PSA for today.
What's our other one?
I don't know. We'll find out later.
Okay.
We'll find out later during my segment.
Gotcha. Okay.
Of crime today.
Yeah, we rolled a double dose of crime today. Yep, so I'm very stoked and happy inside.
I kind of get mad when we roll a double dose.
I do not. I like it.
We both rolled the same topic today or this week, but
I feel like it's very different though at the same time.
They are. It's
good.
It's good stuff. But without giving any more away.
Yeah, Mackenzie, I love my scooter.
Oh my gosh, yes, she does. I got to ride it.
Yeah, she's a
last
nice
week
ride.
I got to ride Shay's scooter, and now I want one. Whoever has a scooter.
Yeah, the three of us could be a little scooter gang.
I mean, we could start a scooter gang.
We could start it. Well, I mean, we'd have to go all the way to
spread
Portland.
love around the country in our
will.
scooter gang. Yeah.
We will.
Speaking of spreading love, we hope everyone's staying safe.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
And being spreading love.
Just
what?
Spreading the love.
I don't even
Just
know how to.
Spreading the love.
I don't even
That's
know.
all you gotta say.
Again, I'm nervous now with this.
I know, you get very nervous in front of a camera.
I don't know what to say.
It's funny.
It's because Mackenzie's watching.
It's true.
Well.
Oh, what are we drinking? How about that?
I know, I was like, I don't even know what to do. Oh yeah, we have to tell you what we're drinking today.
Yeah.
So today, we're drinking...
To me not being dead.
We're cheersing to Shay not being a ghost.
Yay!
And that I don't have to have a podcast by speaking to a dead person. I mean, we were talking about last week.
Maybe you would just have to like last week and just find your inner whatever medium.
Maybe that would be the ultimate podcast. Just like
it would be.
You're just channeling.
100%.
Anyways, that's fucking weird.
Anyway.
So anyways, we're drinking what I am calling a breakfast spritzer.
Yeah, it is a breakfast spritzer.
So basically all I did was I got some fucking really good juice at the store. It has mango, apple, raspberry, fucking aceola, cherries.
Aceola.
Fucking
sounds like areola.
It's like, yeah, it does sound like areola, but it's not about nipples. It's about cherries. Okay.
Okay.
So it is all those juices, some vodka, and of course you top it with Topo Chico because that literally makes everything good.
It does.
# sponsor us,
please.
So yeah, we're drinking that. We're gonna do a double dose of crime today, and you're sure in for a treat. So
it is a treat. I like that I'm standing above you. I just feel so tall.
I feel like a little shrimpy down here. I feel like I'm inside the ground. Remember that, Mackenzie, when we were tripping acid and we were at Red Rocks and I thought I was inside the ground at Red Rocks? Mackenzie, I hope you remember that. You will. You do. Anyway, well, I think we should just get into it.
Yeah. We'll see you.
Thanks all those for watching.
Yeah, we'll be back probably in like 3 hours to do the roll.
Yes, exactly. It takes us a while to get through it. So we'll catch up with you on the flip side. We love you, and we'll see you later. Hello and welcome to the program.
And you'll hear our regular speaking voices now because we're not nervous and like fucking like... There's a camera on. I don't even know what to do.
Do you guys even like those? Let us know.
Yeah, seriously, let us know.
Have you even watched them?
Right?
We have fun. We've had fun doing them the last 2 weeks.
It's kept your intro shorter, hasn't it, you guys?
It has, so that's
I don't know why
nice.
I'm calling it you, but our intros.
Like your intros.
Like I'm still talking to a camera.
This is their podcast.
It is their podcast.
This is all for you.
It's a podcast of the people.
All for you.
Ooh, who is that one? Who is
that?
that?
Guess.
Oh, fuck. It's
90s.
It's not Aaliyah.
No.
Who is it? It's not Destiny's Child. It's
Janet Jackson.
Fuck. Yes. God damn it.
All for you.
Ooh, that was nice.
That was very loud. Anyways,
turn that down.
Let's get into
it.
Crime. So today I'm going to be talking about one of the worst crimes of racial violence in the U.S. history.
That's like relevant, like right now.
a little bit. And I figured I don't think a lot of people know a lot about this at all. And it's called. I'm going to be talking about the Tulsa Race Massacre.
Oh, I think I know about that.
Also, our history books. I didn't ever hear of this. That didn't ring a bell to me.
I don't think I got that in my Texas history book.
No, you didn't because it's normally in history books called the Tulsa Race Riot of 1921
yes.
or the 1921 Tulsa Race Riots.
Okay, I have
race
heard of
riots. This is what but they've
yeah.
it's more widely known now as the Tulsa Race Massacre because that is 1000% what it was.
Well, good. I'm glad they changed it to be more what it should be.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
here we go.
So
I'm so sorry.
I wanted to start off with a quote by Scott Ellsworth about the incident. Okay. He's an American author, and he writes a lot about American history. Anyways, this is what he said about it. Overnight, over 1,000 homes occupied by blacks had been destroyed in Tulsa. The Greenwood Business District had been put to the torch. The city had been placed under martial law. Many, both black and white, had died and were wounded. And the history of Tulsa race riot is but one chapter of the troubled history of racial violence in America. In terms of density of destruction and ratio of casualties to population, it has probably not been equaled to by any riot in the United States in this century.
Oh, wow.
So that's just a little taste of what we're going to get into.
Okay, that's palpable. That's palpable.
So, yeah, like I said, this event remains one of the worst incidents of racial violence in U.S. history. And ironically, actually not ironically, very purposefully,
right, is
one of the least known.
Oh, really?
Well. Yeah.
I just knew it was something different. And it wasn't until I was reading when everything was happening, especially this week, when they kind of talked about, like, nobody remembers when all these freaking African-American neighborhoods were burnt down and all this kind of stuff. I was like, holy shit. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
And I'll talk a little bit about that. So this massacre took place in the Greenwood neighborhood of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And back then, Tulsa was a booming oil town with a population of over 100,000 people. This was back in 1921. And because the city was highly segregated, most of the city's black population, about 10,000 people, lived in Greenwood. And it was the segregated area.
Okay.
And it was also known as a freedom colony or a freedmen's town. So it was built by the former slaves. It was built up completely.
It gives me the chills for whatever reason.
I know. I just got the chills too. Like, holy fuck, dude.
Oh my God.
You're a freed slave and the first thing you do is go build your own town. Like,
you're free. Here you go. Like build it yourself. Amazing.
Like, exactly. And like,
Jesus.
Like, they were like the fucking spirit. Like, I don't know. That's just like.
But yeah, I really wonder though if they just did it also because they were just like, yeah, and this is mine.
This is all we have to do.
And this is mine.
Exactly. So. Because they couldn't. Mm-hmm. That was the only way they could have anything of their own, was if it was separate from everyone else.
That makes me sad. Okay.
And they did a fucking good ass job.
I bet they fucking did.
Of building that town,
good for them.
That area. Anyways, so because the city was, I already said that.
It's fine.
So the Greenwood district was the most prosperous and thriving black community in America during these times, with the highest concentrations of African-American businesses in the United States also.
Oh, wow.
This
awesome.
Area was also known as Black Wall Street, which you might have heard about a little bit. Mm-hmm. And it was considered a mecca of thriving local businesses, culture, and just a huge success. It was a major black economic movement.
Wow. Like a city within a city.
Yes. Not only was it prosperous, but was pretty much completely self-sufficient. I cannot fucking say that. It was complete with theaters, restaurants, doctors, lawyers, newspapers, schools, grocery stores, churches, all the fucking things. Mm-hmm. Super fucking local.
Right.
Also, everything was
Yep.
Obviously, it was back in fucking 1921. They didn't have weird shit like we do now. Anyway.
IKEA.
So this from like 1903 till this massacre, 1921, it was known as the golden age of Greenwood's history. Mm-hmm. Also during this time, racial tensions were spiking across the country after World War I. And the black men that also fought to serve our country were not welcomed back as heroes like their white counterparts.
Right.
And also, in this, the KKK was also very active in Oklahoma at this time. Oh, yeah. And also this, in 1919, was when the Red Summer was. I don't know if you remember anything about that. I kind of remembered it.
Sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't know.
But it was basically when white mobs were murdering like dozens of black people across the country. And so this was just escalating even more after 1919.
Perfect.
So yeah.
Lovely.
So let's get back to June 1st, 1921, almost 99 years ago.
Right.
Almost shy a week. So, well, first of all, on May 30th, 1921 is what's known as a trigger event that happened, which triggered all of these motherfuckers to go crazy. So here's how the story goes. And keep in mind that, this is how the story goes. Okay. And some things have been lost, some things,
of course.
But yeah,
well,
anyway.
It's a giant fire.
So this is what happened. A black teenager named Dick Rowland got into an elevator at the Drexel building, which was an office building on the South Main Street in Tulsa. And at some point after that, once he got in the elevator, a young white elevator operator, Sarah Page, screamed, and then Rowland left the elevator.
I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I don't know if you guys can hear the sound of my eyes rolling, but it's pretty palpable. Let me just say that.
So the police...
It's like a shittier Beyonce lyric. Sorry. So sorry. Go on.
So the police were called, and the next morning they arrested little Dickie Rowland. Sorry, I don't know why I called him little Dickie Rowland.
And how old was he?
Dick Rowland was a young teenager, so he was probably like 13, 14 years old.
He was a baby. It's a baby. Oh my god.
He was just trying to go in the fucking elevator. Oh. So by that time, so they arrested him the next morning. By that time, rumors of what supposedly happened on that elevator had circulated through the city's white community.
Of course.
And even a front page story was released in the Tulsa Tribune that afternoon reporting that police had arrested him because he sexually assaulted Page very quickly in the elevator at 14.
At 14.
Also, just a little side note, Paige never really told the story of what happened, but she also never pressed charges against him, no matter what, even though he was arrested.
Really? So
and
she never did.
Everyone went with the story that he assaulted her.
But she never pressed charges.
No, she didn't.
So who documented the scream?
Someone did.
Somebody did, but she never said like, I screamed and blah, blah, blah.
She probably said that she did, but she never was like, he sexually assaulted me.
So she
never disclosed like what actually happened, I think, is what is going on. Perfect. But she also never pressed charges, so wouldn't you think she would have? Yeah. Completely?
So, yeah. So, okay, go on.
She had that white guilt.
She did.
Good.
She should.
Except some shit happened.
Go on.
Just delete that. I don't know.
No, it's fine.
It is fine.
It's
I'm
fine.
learning.
No,
I'm learning what I can and cannot say.
No, you're fine.
So, as the evening fell, an angry white mob was gathering outside the courthouse demanding the sheriff hand over Rowland because they wanted to lynch him in the street, basically.
Oh, poor baby.
But the sheriff, Willard McCullough.
Oh, perfect.
Michelob
Light.
Definitely not
perfect.
Willard McCullough. What the fuck?
I'm just gonna say he's Michelob Light.
He refused to hand over Rowland because he was being a good sheriff.
Right.
Good job, Sheriff Willie.
Good for him.
Somewhat. Anyways.
Oh.
His men. No. I'm just saying. Anyway.
Yeah, it's all
Nothing
good.
happened later with Willard. Don't worry.
Okay, good.
Lots of other shit happened later that
we're gonna find out.
Here we go. So he refused to hand over Rowland, and his men barricaded the top floor to protect the black teenager because they were trying to fucking get in at him. Yeah.
Okay.
So around 9 p.m., a group of about 25 armed black men, including World War I veterans, went to just a little side note.
Right.
Went to the courthouse to offer help guarding Rowland. They were just helping guard him. They weren't trying to start shit. They were just like, you don't need to take this boy.
Innocent until proven guilty.
Exactly. Yeah. So after the sheriff turned them away, some of the white mob tried to unsuccessfully break into the National Guard armory nearby. And with rumors still flying of a possible lynching of this black boy, a group of around 75 armed black men returned to the courthouse shortly after 10 to still help protect him. Yeah. But then where they were met by 1,500 white men who were carrying weapons, some of them. But 75 versus 1,500. Okay?
Jesus Christ. Oh my
Also at this
God.
time, there was a false belief that a huge violent uprising among the Black Tulsans was going to take place, which fueled the fire. So they it was like they started these rumors with themselves that they were just going to uproar and like take over.
Right.
So they were always like, I mean, that was always the threat to them.
Right.
So they, that was them defending themselves.
Okay.
And this is how they fucking did
Here we go.
So as dawn broke on June 1st, thousands of white citizens poured into the Greenwood district. Mm-hmm. They started looting and burning homes and businesses over an area of 35 city blocks. Firefighters who arrived to help put out the fires later testified that the rioters had threatened them with guns and forced the firefighters to leave because they were trying to put out the fire.
Oh my God.
And Greenwood was basically demolished and in ruins.
Oh God. Jesus Christ.
According to a later Red Cross estimate, some 1,200 houses were burned. 215 others were looted but not torched. Uh-huh. By the time the National Guard arrived and declared martial law shortly before noon on June 1st, the riot had effectively ended and the town was demolished. That part of the town.
How devastating.
And though guardsmen helped put out the fires, they also imprisoned many Black Tulsans. And by June 2nd, some 6,000 people were under armed guard at local fairgrounds. So they just arrested Black Tulsans and just kept them in the fairgrounds while whatever. And then get this.
Lovely.
In the hours after the Tulsa Race Massacre ended, all charges against Dick Rowland were dropped. The police concluded that Rowland had most likely stumbled into Paige or stepped on her fucking foot. Kept safely under guard in the jail during the riot, Dick Rowland obviously fucking left Tulsa the next morning and never fucking returned.
Good for him, because he's like, I'm fucking out of here. Yeah.
So thousands of people were forced to live in tent cities after the massacre or left homeless. It's said that about 10,000 Black people were left homeless after this.
Oh my God.
And then the police came and were doing their police things, and they would get arrested for being homeless. Anyways, that also happened after they were freed from slavery.
Perfect.
You have nowhere to go, but I'm going to arrest you to be homeless, and then you're going to be a slave again because you're in jail.
Yeah.
Anyway, what?
Which, technically, actually, it's still... I didn't watch the whole thing, but that movie, The 13th.
Yeah.
And it's technically slave labor. It's totally legal. I have no words for that.
Yeah. So 10,000 it said that 10,000 Black people were left homeless. Property damage amounted to more than $1.5 million in real estate and $750,000 in personal property back then, which is equivalent to $32 million in 2019 money. Hi, Buddha.
Pet her.
Dude, Buddha, the cat.
It takes her 75 years to get used to a person, so.
And she's literally
my sister can attest to this because when I lived with her for a year, 9 months, she finally came out like the week before I left.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, she's literally sitting on the corner.
Just letting me pet her. Look at that.
Thanks, Buddha. She's like super comfortable. Like she's usually scared when I pet her.
She's just a weenie.
She's okay. Yeah. Just like you, Shay, you big wuss getting in the pooter in the
wuss.
white water. Just kidding.
Anyway.
Back to the story.
Sorry.
So, yes, all that damage was equivalent to about $32.25 million. All this devastation.
Oh, my God.
Also, just to give it a little perspective, happened in an 18-hour period of time.
Was it?
That was it. 18 hours, and it was burned to the fucking ground.
That means that... Okay. Wow. That's like a very just a deliberate... You're going in there and then you're just especially back in... What year is this?
1921.
I mean, you have to be hustling and just be doing that amount of damage in that amount of time back then.
Yeah. And eyewitness accounts, one woman said, it was just bullets were raining down on us, and
those rubber ones,
obviously.
Just kidding.
No,
sorry.
they were no.
I'll shut up.
So
we're trying to be biased. I'm sorry.
So the The residents tried to immediately...
Or non-biased, sorry.
The residents tried to immediately rebuild even after this. And they were like, all right, well, it's time to rebuild our city, even though everyone just fucking burned it down.
100%.
Let's rebuild.
Right?
Like, are you that is the human fucking spirit.
That is just like, okay, okay,
that we need, all of us.
It's not to compare anything like of light, but it's like when were you a Harry Potter fan?
Yeah. Okay,
it's like in the last movie when Hogwarts was in shambles, and then Finch, you see in that scene where he just is like sweeping, just like, well, we're gonna rebuild it. Just what else are we gonna do? We're just gonna fucking rebuild it.
This is our home. This is our fucking home.
That's the epitome of just like rolling up your sleeves, and that's the human spirit, 100%.
And that's what a lot of it's like. This is their fucking land too.
It is.
So, again, residents tried to immediately rebuild, but were met with resistance from,
Shocking.
Yeah, shocking. Nonetheless, massive reconstruction of the district was rebuilt only a year later. Again, despite the opposition of many white Tulsa political and business leaders, and even rezoning laws that enacted to prevent reconstruction.
There it is.
They're like, oh, we just changed the law. Like, they still were able to fucking rebuild. They always were able to fucking find a way.
Really? Okay. Well, good for them.
Fucking, yeah.
Human spirit finds a fucking way. Mm-hmm. Like, I found that way to that branch.
And I think they were able to, over, 80 businesses were opened after, within a year of that.
Good.
So it continued as a vital black community until segregation was overturned by the federal government during the 50s and 60s. And then the desegregation actually encouraged black citizens to live and shop elsewhere in the city, which caused Greenwood to lose much of its original vitality. Mm-hmm. And also, there was such, could you imagine the people that, rebuilt and still lived there, living with that? And then also, let's talk about the cover-ups that literally immediately started happening.
Oh.
Basically, these people were, forced to, no one talked about it.
Of course they didn't.
They didn't talk about it in,
of course.
They didn't talk about it anywhere. And they, first of all, named it the Tulsa Race Riot.
There it is, yeah.
So that, in itself, is kind of rewriting the history.
Again, it's just showing, they
it was just a riot.
It was a riot. They started it first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we came in, and this is just the fallout what happened.
And this is just what had to happen.
To just control them.
Yeah, fuck. So for decades, there were no public ceremonies, memorials for the dead, or any efforts to commemorate what had happened at all.
Of course not.
Instead, there was deliberate effort to cover it up.
Of course.
Even that Tulsa fucking Tribune article that said that the boy assaulted the girl.
Of course.
Went missing. Really? And also, they discovered that police and state militia archives from the riot were missing as well. And they later found that out. Things disappeared, the stories were rewritten, and then the people of the town were just, fucking forced to, not say anything about it. And it was they were trying to make it forgotten.
Right. Of course. Well, yeah.
So as a result, until recently, the Tulsa Race Massacre was rarely mentioned in history books, taught in schools, or even talked about, like I said. Mm. And a lot of the pictures left from this time that you can find in the local museums are these photo postcards. And these photo postcards were widely distributed after the massacre to show the devastation of what happened. Mm-hmm. And they were basically part of white supremacist culture and were considered to be souvenirs of the racially charged crimes.
Okay.
Isn't that fucking sick? So they would just show pictures of the devastated town and pass them around to the white people.
I don't even have any words for that because my brain literally can't ingest it.
This was 1921. This was 99 years ago. That is not that fucking long ago.
No. A lot of this shit that happens is you're usually oh, that happened when you look in kind of European history. You're oh yeah, that happened oh my god, in the year 12. Mm-hmm. But not in America. You're that happened almost if my grandmother lived long enough,
would know it.
She would know it. And that's really
she was alive.
Up. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, another little cover up was at first it was reported only white people died, according to one report.
Okay.
Another original official tally
Right.
of the deaths of the massacre was 36 people killed total, including 10 white people. But even by that estimate, which historians now considered much too low, the Tulsa Race Massacre stood as one of the deadliest riots in U.S. history. Estimates now put that number closer to 300 people. So the range is 30 to 300 people. It's like that's what these people have for their history.
Yeah.
And the people that are like family of people that died in this don't even, don't even get to, like, they don't really know.
No.
And
they're just cast off. Yeah. That's just.
Also, where the fuck are those bodies at?
That's the other thing too. Like, I mean, but that doesn't surprise me that number is completely off, because like if you have that amount of damage in, what did you say, 18 hours?
And they were just shooting. Yeah. They just went through the towns shooting just shooting.
That's what I can't imagine. It's like
1,500 people.
You just saw people and you're just like, bang, and you just felt like you're like, yep, I'm not going to get in trouble for this, so bang.
And I don't think they did.
They probably didn't. And back then, I mean, it didn't happen that long ago, but even, like, stuff has changed so much in, like, the realm of, just how they are able to count whatever. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's just, I'm sure even the number is probably even higher than that.
It probably is.
Which is so
unfortunately.
Sad. Yeah.
So, there are only 2 victims from the massacre in the local Oaklawn Cemetery. 2 people.
2?
There's 2 people. So where the fuck did they all go? So not till 1977 was a commission put together to study the massacre. So over 50 years later,
God,
they were like, maybe we should.
Where do you start? Like, where do you start with that? Like, how do you even?
And it had to have been like the kids and grandkids of like the people that were like, we need to like fucking do some shit and figure out what happened.
And you think about like, what if those people didn't have kids and grandkids? Like, I mean, the number had to be double it. I mean, it had to be.
I know. It's to this day they do not know how many people died. It was covered up.
Shocking.
Or it wasn't even counted. So in 1977 there was a commission put together to kind of help piece together what happened, and they even got eyewitness accounts. But as of now, all those eyewitnesses are dead. So should we try to talk to him, Shay?
Don't.
After death communication?
Did I get a power after I almost hit that rock and almost drowned?
They were saving you so that we could talk about this. Anyways, so one witness named Clyde Eddy, who was a white man, said that he saw bodies being dumped in the Oaklawn Cemetery. And now, with the use of radar, yes, in a mass grave.
Okay.
So using radar, they've found anomalies in soil at 3 different locations around Tulsa, one large one being in the Oaklawn Cemetery. And this is all like pretty recent news that they're like, we need to dig it up.
Right.
Why aren't we digging the things up, people? Just dig it up.
It's like dig
up the yard.
It's like a paviglia.
Flores.
It's like a paviglia, but in America, where the
exactly
dirt is ash.
Yeah, exactly. So, people have been trying to dig it up and get answers since the 70s, and a lot more has happened since the 90s. But still, they've never fucking excavated anything. Mm-hmm. Some archaeologists say it also could be a mass grave site from the 1919 flu pandemic.
Disagree.
So it's also like, you don't even know where you put the flu people?
We're like, I don't remember where we put it. Dave was in charge of the flu bulldozer, so I don't know. Like,
let's keep track. Let's keep track.
I'm sorry, not Dave. Edgar. That's a more believable name in the 1920s. Edgar was in charge of the flu pandemic bodies in that bulldozer. Bulldozer number 12.
Oh my God.
Was rented out to Edgar.
Yeah, so let's just not even find out, though. It's like, they could be from the flu. So it's like, so wouldn't you? Let's find out.
Just sounds a little shady to me.
Yeah. Anyways, like I said, to this day, nothing's been excavated, but more and more people are being aware of this story and becoming like trying to find answers. And the town of Tulsa and the mayor right now is also completely behind, like, awesome. Let's get fucking answers. These people need answers. Like, absolutely. This is American history. Living history.
So absolutely.
This is American history.
It is American history, and there's a lot of blood in it. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
So the story, like I said, is getting a lot more traction now for good fucking reason.
Right.
We need to open our eyes to a lot more of these stories.
Yep.
And 100%. Relearn and unlearn.
Yep. Absolutely.
So some things in some popular culture. The first 2 episodes of the popular HBO show Watchmen. Mm-hmm. It depicts the Greenwood Massacre or the Tulsa Massacre.
Interesting.
In the first 2 episodes, and in the episodes they suggest that I think that shows like where the people are buried, like in that. I mean, obviously it's a show, but it's just like they're trying to get this. I mean, this story is important, and I feel like people need answers.
Absolutely,
we need to know.
100%.
Also, LeBron James is making a documentary about it. That news came out like a couple days ago, actually. There's also fucking dozens of books about Black Wall Street and the Tulsa Massacre or the race riots. I mean, obviously, be careful of what you're reading because you might get
Check your sources. A
placebo fucking story.
Zinga! Throwback to just last week.
Sugar-coated fucking placebo pill.
Boom.
Of a story.
Yes.
So it makes you feel better about your little self. Get the truth, y'all. There's also a lot of podcasts. There's different podcasts about it too. So just if you want to learn more about it,
do your research.
Fucking look it up. There's a lot to find. There's also a really weird. I saw on YouTube. There's a Black Wall Street like documentary from like 1992, but it's very like Reefer Madness style, where it's like
a
really, I don't know. It's not a documentary. I think it's like a play, and it's based on the Black Wall Street.
Like Reefer Madness. You're
but
like,
it also,
I'm gonna jump out this window. You're like, that's not.
But it almost was like propaganda-y for like.
That's what I mean. Yeah, where Reefer Madness was
like
pure propaganda, where you're like, that's what you do when you're on on weed. You're like, that's how that goes. But okay, sure.
Yeah, okay. And it said like, I don't know. It was just weird. Mm-hmm. Look it up and. It says like devastating facts, but also how it's like presented is like kind of weird.
It was like the production company was like, you can only say this much, and they're like, then you have to just
But there was one part that was like that I didn't. It was like you might need to delete this. I don't know, but it was like it was like Black Wall Street. It was like this really deep, kind of creepy man, like. It was kind of like a dark
like a Batman voice.
And it was like a very ominous music. And it was like Black Wall Street was like the towns of the Koreans and the Iranians and the Chinese of these days where they thrive. I don't know. It was like you know how like there's Koreatown and like it was like it was just weird. It was like this is like that sounds racist.
Okay, but
it was like white people putting us together.
So, but the
the
whole point of this documentary was to show the facts, quote unquote.
Yes, but it was also like it was like I probably should have read into it more before telling you about it. But I don't know if it was a documentary. It was like I don't know if it was like a play. It wasn't a play. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It was.
But I'm wondering, like, I wonder if they were trying to present the facts, but they could only present
in a certain way.
Facts because, like, whoever picked it up was like, you have to say it in this way. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? So
exactly, that's what I was fucking trying to get at.
Absolutely. So I'm wondering if it's like they had to produce it in a way that's just like, please read into this, but it's not what we're saying. But we had to produce it this way because this is how we got our funding. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
That's exactly how I felt about
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're like you're sounding like these are good facts, but you're presenting it in a really fucking bizarre way.
Yeah. It was weird.
Okay.
So yeah, basically, let's learn our history.
What?
Let's unite.
I don't know why I said that. I'm so sorry.
Let's strive for equality and stand up for each other. And also, I wanted to end on 2 quotes, actually. Mm-hmm. One by Booker T. Washington, and with this. One constructive effort in the way of progress does more to blot out discrimination than all the winnings of the world. And then also my last quote is, injustice plus time does not equal justice.
Love it. Boom.
And that is my crime story for today.
That's a great one.
Thanks, Shay. I hope some people didn't even know anything about that.
I didn't know. I didn't know half that information. So
yeah,
I actually thought when you talked about this young black man that was getting persecuted for something that he probably didn't do, I thought you were talking about George Steiny. Do you know about him? He was the one. He's like one of the youngest black men that has gotten executed for a crime that he probably didn't commit. He was, let's see, what was his? He was 14 years old when he was electrocuted in 1944 because he was accused of killing 2 little girls. It was, I think it was like what was it? I had to look it up. Is
this like what Green Mile's based on?
Right.
Except that he was not 14.
He was accused of killing 2 white girls, 7 and 11. Not 7. Never mind. Okay. No, don't make a joke. Okay. He was accused of killing 2 girls that their ages were 7 and 11 in South Carolina. And he actually was put to death at the age of 14. And he was electrocuted. Jesus. And that was in 1944.
Wow.
And I think actually in 2014 he had like received, I guess, a fair trial and he had not received a fair trial. And I think his conviction got overturned. But he was gone. But he was...
In 2014 it got overturned?
100%. So he was...
2014.
Yep. So the courts ruled that he actually was innocent because he did not receive a fair trial, but he was killed by the electric chair in 1944. He was 14 years old. So that's who I thought you were originally talking about. So I'm glad that 14 or 15-year-old got away, but this one did not. And that was 20 years later. 20 years later.
It's sick.
Yep. It's super sick.
And look at what's happening now. Mm-hmm. And anyway,
but this is good. This is good. This is going to be changed. So anyway.
Change.
My crime story is a little bit less like this.
That's fine.
You might have heard about it.
Crime.
So you might have heard about it. So because I just have been like engrossed in it just because I'm just curious what's going to happen. But
okay.
You might have heard about it. So anyway.
All right.
I'm going to get some water first.
Oh, yeah. We're going to take a little tiny break, but you're going to hear us right after the little pause.
Chimey chime.
So,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, our little chime.
Oh, that one. Here we go.
Here we are.
Here we are again.
We're back.
For after that 45-second break. It wasn't 45. It was like more like a 40.45 seconds.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. That's the one, not the one I did. That was whatever that was.
Maybe the next song that we do, or the little sound, it will just be me going.
Perfect. That'll just be exactly what 30ish is.
Or that'll be our intro song.
Johnny Depp sound from Willy Wonka.
That was such a weird version of that movie.
Well, that's Tim Burton for you. You know?
I know, but like, why did Johnny Depp have to be such a weird, like,
because
creepy?
Because how do you top and make different Gene Wilder's impression of Willy Wonka? You have to
make him the opposite,
like a businessman in a white like a suit, I'm gonna sell you some insurance right now.
Well, he's supposed to be like a magical.
He is
man.
If you ever read the book, yeah.
But I did hear that version was more like the book.
The Charlie and the Tim Burton one?
The Tim Burton one. But yeah. I don't know.
I
don't fucking know. I didn't read the book.
I didn't either. But
I read other Roald Dahl books. He was my favorite author as a child.
He was amazing. That and there was another author. Was it Judy Blume? Maybe. I don't. Oh yeah. It wasn't. I don't remember.
Or the Judy Blume books.
It was the one that was like Tales of the Fourth Grade Nothing. Do you remember that one?
I didn't read it, but I probably remember the.
I don't remember
cover.
Yeah.
Amelia Bedelia.
It had like a fish on it.
Probably. Rainbow fish.
Yes, I read just children, like, for books for toddlers. Yep.
In, like,
I was like, I'm going to
grade?
read this, and I'm going to do a book report in 8th grade. Be like, the rainbow fish. Like, you need to go to this special class.
I read it 17 times, so it was equivalent to a chapter book, and it was fine.
It was like one of those books that you had to read it like 4 or 5 times to really ingest the deeper meaning of the rainbow fish. Also, I like the way the pages feel against my skin.
And I really like the sparkly scales.
Exactly. Okay.
Anyways,
Are you
back
ready?
to crime.
Back to crime. Okay. So, have you heard anything about this woman called Lori Vallows?
Did she bite someone's dick off and throw it in a field? No, that's Lorena Bobbitt.
Sure didn't.
Nope, I don't know about
even
her.
Close, and that was in the 90s. But that's a good crime story.
It is.
This is the woman that she's been kind of like in 2019, like the end of 2019. Her kids had disappeared, and she's kind of been like a national story. Obviously, it kind of went away for a little bit because of the pandemic and coronavirus and all that kind of stuff. But I'm wondering if you'll know it once you hear
Sorry, I'm
it.
like weirdly staring at you right now. I just was
You're
like,
"Meh."
wait, no,
Yeah.
I don't know about this.
Yes. So this is her story. She's in custody now, but it's still it's an open case. It's we don't know where those kids are yet. So it's fairly new. We still don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about this.
So anyway,
I'm excited to learn.
yeah. So this is the story of her and her kind of her strange, kind of the dealings around the disappearance of her 2 children. It's her 2 children. It's Taylor, who is 17, and JJ, who I believe is 7. So
Wow.
yeah,
They both disappeared?
they both disappeared. We don't know where they are, and we still don't know. So yeah, so it's more like a missing children's case right now.
Okay. Fuck.
So
Yes!
I got a lot of my information.
not yes.
I know, but I get what you're saying. Like, it's not okay.
Like, what a freak.
Yes,
missing children.
Missing
I love
children.
it.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite story. So I got a lot of my information from interviews from the East Idaho News. One of the reporters sat down with one of Lori's friends, who her name is Melanie Gibbs. So Melanie Gibb was a former friend of Lori's, and she had a sit-down interview with East Idaho News, a reporter, Nate, I believe his name is Nate Eaton. And she was in the same religion, quote unquote, as Lori. She kind of talks about how she doesn't feel like it was a cult. Now, she came forward and like gave all this information, and she's not a part of that group anymore, whatever group that Lori was a part. She kind of goes back and forth in her interview about like it really wasn't a cult, but it really wasn't a group. She kind of everything is still so kind of fresh with this case. There's no like hard set like in stone, like it's still
wishy-washy,
right? It's kind of very vague because there's so much investigation still going on that a lot of it is kind of just like, you know, like, is it a group? Was it ever established? We don't really know. We do have some facts about kind of what happened, but yeah. So she still, it's like, cult is a strong word. I'm like, yeah, fucking cult's a strong word, but like, what? Jesus Christ. Anyway, so, but she said,
but if it's what you're in, that's what you're in.
That's what you're in. So, are you drinking
It's called
Kool-Aid?
a spade.
Yeah. So she just came forward because she felt like she had some information, you know, even though she really doesn't have any information about where the kids are, but she just, you know, she's not a part of that inner circle, quote unquote, anymore with Lori, the woman who is the mother of the missing children.
Okay.
So, anyway. So Melanie met Lori in October of 2018, and they bond over their beliefs. And their beliefs at the core,
cult.
Oh yeah, right. Their beliefs at the core are they're Mormons. So this is like a kind of a branch of the Latter-day Saints teachings, but the Latter-day Saints are like not like, they're like, we don't have any association with these people, like none whatsoever. So they went to the Latter-day Saints church, and then they kind of broke off into this other group. But that's when she talked about like, I went to church every day. That's where she went. She went to the Church of the Latter-day Saints. But anyway, so So they bond over that. They bond over raising the kids. Lori discloses that her son JJ, who is autistic, he's quite a handful, like due to his autism. Around the same time, they go to like this convention. By the way, I'm just jumping right into this, just so you know. They jump right into like they go into this convention, and that's where Lori officially meets. What was his last name? Chad. What the hell? I didn't write it down. Stand by.
Fucking Chad.
It probably is gonna come up on my thing. Chad Day. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't write it down. So they go to this convention, and that's where she first meets Chad Daybell. He was selling one of his 25 self-published books. So, you know they gotta be good at their self-published.
Of course.
For Mormon audiences, including...
Hey, some people gotta self-publish their books, and they're fucking good, Shay.
True. All right. To be fair, that's true. This guy was not.
I'm gonna self-publish my book,
I should
bitch.
self-publish my own book. Don't get in the river. That's what it's gonna be called.
Don't get in the river.
Ever.
Don't trust the white water. Will be mine.
Or the white men. Erase that. Anyway, so
some of them are good.
Some of them aren't good.
Hashtag Chris Carmel.
Mr. Carmel is good. So he's a self-published author, and he does fantasies on like a dystopia world wrought by like biotourism attacks and catastrophic natural disasters and like. So all that kind of stuff. So he's done like 25 books. So he does like a lot of fiction, but it's like he's probably like it's based on his teachings, quote unquote. So Chad and Lori bond over their similar beliefs on the religion, like which Melanie states that it was like a step further beyond like what the church teaches, obviously. Yeah. She doesn't disclose what they discuss really though. Like she's very wishy-washy in the interview because I think. And she says that like a couple times to the reporter that she just is like, this stuff is so personal. And I think honestly, sometimes it's like when you say it out loud, it sounds fucking bananas.
Which means you should probably say it out loud more.
100%.
So that you can hear it yourself.
Right. So also at the time when Chad and Lori meet, so Chad is married with 5 children and Lori is married with 2. So they're married.
So they have sister wife time.
Right. So they're both of the 2 people that are kind of liking each other are married. So anyway, but he tells Lori, Chad tells Lori, at this, it's called Preparing a People Conference. And Preparing a People Conference is essentially I believe it's based in the Mormon faith, and but it's not a group. It's just a convention of people just speaking, essentially. It's like a TED Talk, but in religious form.
Preparing of the people.
Preparing people. But it's like a, a preparing of a second coming, right?
Oh, okay. I thought it was like, I don't know, grooming the people.
Like grooming the people for a cult. Just come on and take the pamphlet. Don't even worry about it. Here's the Kool-Aid.
Just don't think about it.
It's great.
Don't critically think about any of this, please.
Right? Don't do it. So at this convention, Chad informs her that they have been married multiple times before, like in past lives. So he just comes out and tells her that, which, I believe in past lives. Mm-hmm. So, but this guy was taking it like talking to a stranger about it. Right. So, even though like something that I believe, it seems like I would never go up to a stranger and be like, so you and I were together in this past life, because, seriously, you don't know like what their cup of tea is. You don't know, again, like I wouldn't appreciate somebody come up and be like talking about like Jesus Christ and like trying to force their religion down me. Like you don't do that. You just don't. So,
that's not the way.
It's not the way, as Mando would say in freaking The Mandalorian. Anyway, so, Anyway, so he comes up and just tells her that. He's never met her before. And he's like, oh, we've been married. So we've been married like in like past lives. So I was your husband. So right off the bat, like, if anybody came up and told me that, I'm like, yeah, you're trying to manipulate something and get away.
Yeah.
Get the fuck away from me. So,
why don't you ask my name first, buddy?
Right. But Lori just, like, immediately, like, jumps on board. Which, to me, that shows, like, you're unhappy in your own fucking marriage. To be just like, oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, my God, you're right.
You're right, stranger. Which, secretly, though, behind, like, before they came to the convention, she did really like this guy's books. So she was obsessed with them. So I'm sure she just was like, oh, he's showing me affection. Like, will he take me? Will he take me tubing later? Like, never mind. It doesn't matter. Anyway. So, so Melanie, her friend, talks like further and states that, like, I'm sorry, yeah, okay, she just is like speaking to the interviewee and is like, interviewer, and like states that Lori and her husband Charles seemed to fight when she would be over. So maybe Lori, again, like what I was saying, like maybe she's not in a happy marriage. She's probably looking for a way out or that kind of thing. So she's kind of questioning this as she's watching this interaction between these two people. Because she knows like both he is married and she's married. She's like, that's a little fucked up, but okay, you do you. Anyway, a month goes by and Chad comes to stay at Lori's house for like a different conference, like a difference of a
conference of the like vagina,
right? A preparing of people's
a preparing conference. Of the vagina,
a preparing of the vagina
for the the P and the V,
the P and the V. So, but Lori's husband isn't there. So, and there's like other people that are staying at Lori's house and stuff like that. And that's when he starts talking about kind of his beliefs and his teachings. So, Melanie says that there never was like any like actual statements that said, let's form a group, but it just kind of like happened, but it's like a slow roll. So it wasn't like, okay, well, let's form a group and let's like get stamps and get like a logo and let's get like stickers for the back of our cars. It was never anything like that. Like it wasn't like 30-ish. Okay. So
this was not a podcast.
It wasn't a podcast. So, so after the conference, he goes back home but Lori like and him like talk every day on the phone, but when they like asked by Melanie, why doesn't like they just like Lori, why doesn't she just get a divorce from her husband if she's like in love with this dude? And Lori says they aren't allowed because whatever messages they are getting from beyond the veil aren't allowing them to. So
what?
Freeze. So some of the concepts like they're like claiming, that they believe in, or some like the vocab that I use, like I talk about like in my brain and my own stuff in my own circles, I talk about like beyond the veil, and essentially it's just like what you talked about like last week, about with like ghosts, and, like the inner plane and that kind of stuff. It's like beyond the veil. So they're using, and it makes me so mad that they use this kind of like this kind of vocabulary, because they're talking about like how people beyond the veil, like guardian angels, whatever you want to call them, are saying they can't do that. And that's 100% complete inaccurate. That's not true. Number one, everyone has free will. In every religion, I feel like you have, like, everyone has free will, and you make your own choices. And so to me, like, this shows, like, right off the bat, like, he is manipulating her, she is manipulating him, or whatever that way is. They are like a match made in hell, or whatever you want to call it. But 100%, like, they're using this. I don't know why they just can't divorce, but for whatever reason, he doesn't want to divorce his wife or whatever. So he's using his own whatever, his teachings, to say like, oh, we can't get divorced.
Great.
I don't know why, but whatever. Anyway, but it just makes me mad, because it's just like, it just makes what I believe sometimes just even more invalid, because people like this that take advantage. But I mean, that's in a religion. That's like Christianity as well. Like, people use it and take advantage, and then it nullifies other practices that others preach when they're just like really being authentic and good people.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Hey, fucking man, Shay.
Right?
Get it.
Get after it. I saw it in the light when I was... Never mind. Okay.
When I almost died, it came to me.
Died. So there's like, and like I was saying, like there's no ego behind like the veil. There's no agenda like that. So again, like them talking about, he's like, they're both just twisting it to what they need it to be. So, so Melanie is spending a bunch of time with Lori, and since Chad talks to Lori every day, Melanie, like by default, is taking in like his lessons or philosophy. And that's, let's see. And that's also like when a few people come into the fold and they just start meeting at Lori's house. So just be careful If you're going over to some people, they might not be selling you World Ventures. They could be selling you a bunch of like weird ass shit like
fucking World Ventures.
Fucking World Ventures, I'm telling you.
Did you do that? We've talked about this.
God,
right?
no. Absolutely.
I did it.
I had a couple. Did you? That's right. You did.
I did it.
You did it. I had a friend.
And then I was like, I'm an idiot.
Yeah,
what?
My
I was
friend
so
did it.
desperate.
Mm-hmm.
I was
so
desperate
did it too.
for money.
A friend of mine did it too.
I was like, I'm going to not have to pay my student loans anymore.
Right?
And I'm going to travel the world.
I'm going to get a Mercedes.
And I'm going to fucking be an annoying asshole to everyone I meet if I do this. Perfect.
I had a friend that did it. But anyway, but yeah, so it was like these gradual, like kind of, we would come for coffee and then it just kind of turned into something bigger than that. But I mean, it wasn't like a humongous following that he had. And yeah, so anyway, anyway. And that's also when like Lori and Chad started to seek out people who would like fit into this group of Chad's teachings. And what were his teachings? Well, Chad essentially believed him and Lori were going to be the leaders of the 144,000 souls that were to rule in the kingdom of heaven after the second coming, which I'm sure you've heard of the number. Yeah. I believe it's Jehovah's Witnesses that it's attached to. Like, yeah. There's always that joke, like, I don't know why you keep recruiting people if there's only 144,000 spots. Like, I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, how does that make sense?
So they believed that they were going to be the leaders or the whatever of that group. They 100% believe that.
How do people believe?
Also, Lori would also believe that she was a god preparing for Christ's second coming. So she just believed that she was a god spirit, essentially. Chad never claims this, but I'm sure he probably believed it also because it seemed like whatever he was spoon feeding her, she was believing. So
yeah, I'm sure he planted that seed in her.
100%. So Chad has this gift of seeing beyond the veil, a power that he claims none of his followers have. So he can only see and hear things and have the visions. Nobody else can. Classic. And that's classic 101.
Number one
leader, like,
red flag.
You can only see it. I can only see it. And he also would do this thing where he would say his teachings and then Lori was the one, or other women would be the ones, or either other men. Like, he wouldn't directly like do his, like, say his teachings in front of the group. He would have somebody else do it. So it kept like, it had this barrier. So it was like he was so untouchable. Only like his select inner group could talk to him. So it was almost like he making himself godlike. Do you know what I mean? So this guy had like, this has red flags like written all over it. Like, it wasn't even like a slow roll like Jim Jones where he was totally like approachable. Like, it just became like the slow roll of him being like this cult leader. This guy was like I just want to go to the finish line, essentially.
Just gonna bypass all these other steps.
Yeah, so they also believed in multiple probations, which was essentially multiple lifetimes. So they claimed that they had 5 lifetimes on this planet. They've had multiple lifetimes on other planets. And Chad claims he was a Holy Ghost. I don't know what that means, but he claims that he was.
The Holy Spirit? Or like a saint?
It doesn't really go into it, but he claims he was a Holy Ghost. Whatever this guy,
the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. He was the third of the Trinity.
He was the
Jesus Christ.
He was the completion of the trifecta.
He was. Place him in the tabernacle. Do you like that?
Sprinkle him on the baby Jesus. He is like part of the Frankenmirth.
Baptize yourselves in the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
So Chad claimed...
That's from Dave Chappelle. Anyway.
That's amazing. Chad claimed he made a portal in Lori's closet so she could visit him. Her friend clarified and said that he couldn't physically go through it. I mean, they aren't silly. That's just silly. That's just silliness. It was more like of a prayer sacred space thing. But like he apparently made it in his closet. So she would go in there and kneel and then she would pray and then they would be connected.
Would she be blacked out in this closet?
I don't know. Like, was he like, you had to smell this cloth? It smells like chloroform before the closet?
The smells of the faithful.
100%.
Oh my God.
And there was an email that actually,
I mean, I get like there's you have a sacred space.
Right.
I don't know.
100%. I get where like the foundation was for him, but it was just like he would take it a step further. You're like, okay, sure,
and
sure, man.
Like, yes, master.
Sure, man. Yeah. So, So it actually was like, with this investigation going on, there were emails that were kind of going back and forth between him and Lori. And one of the...
I keep thinking this was like in the 50s. This was like last year.
This was last year. Like, not even last year. It was in like September. Well, actually, it was in 2018. So that's when all this kind of started to happen. So,
oh my God.
But still in the last couple of years. And it's an open investigation. So he actually...
I just had to catch myself that it was literally like last year.
Right. So, so through like these emails between him and her, since it's an open investigation, one of these emails was like a to-do list. Included was like these seven missions to accomplish together, which was the subject line. Number 1, translate ancient records.
Perfect.
Okay. Number 2, write the book.
Number
2, write the book about the translation process, whatever that means. Again, there's not a whole lot of information because, again, this investigation is so new. There's nothing, like, nobody's gone to trial yet. Like, it's super, super new.
Damn.
So, number 3.
Number 3, listen up.
Listen up. Number 3. Identify locations in the northeast Arizona for white camps. That's it. That's the number 3.
What?
Yes. We don't know. Number 4. It says... There's just...
We don't know.
It's just...
Number 4?
Number 4. And this doesn't make any sense to me. A presidency of the Church of Firstborn, which sounds like some weird-ass Twilight vampire shit.
You're in it, Shay.
I guess.
You're the firstborn.
Firstborn. I am the
I'm
firstborn.
not. I'm a middle.
I'm a middle. Not the middleborn.
God
but
damn
to me, it sounds like something like from Twilight, like a Twilight book, like vampire bullshit.
Yeah.
So, number 5, that's number 4. Just presidency of the firstborn. I don't know what that means. So...
What does that mean? Presidency?
Right. Number 5, help establish the food oh my God. I'm a little chapped because of all the bullshit that I'm ingesting.
And the dry drowning.
And the dry drowning. I'm dead. I could have drowned Gilbert. Anyway, help establish the food distribution as the tribulation start and the delegate. That doesn't make any sense to me, but that's what it said.
The fuck?
Is
this like the 10 Commandments?
Kind of. There's only 7, though.
Oh, the 7.
Like the deadly sins. Number 6.
Moses parting the seas, parting the something.
Parting the something. So, number 6, ordain individuals to translation as camps begin. Don't know again what that means.
Find white camps.
Right? Number 7, provide supplies to righteous members of families. So this sounds like an off branch of the KKK to me, in all honesty.
You're right. Fucking weird.
I mean, it also sounds like some type of
the
really
righteous.
Like, it also sounds like a shitty like Pinky in the Brain episode. Number 8, conquer the world.
Lower the globe.
So
yeah, seriously.
Right.
Yeah, they've left out number 8.
They're bananas. Okay, so time goes by, and they have like a small little motley crew that are just doing like the little cult thing.
It's not a cult.
It's not a cult.
It's a cult.
It's a culty cult. I'm sure like there's like a full blown affair at this point. I mean, I'm sure there is. They even get sealed in the Mormon church, but I guess what Melanie, her friend, was saying in the interview was saying like, but it wasn't ordained and it wasn't, I guess, authorized, because I guess you have to be authorized to do that kind of thing. I'm not 100% in the Mormon religion, but I'm pretty sure that you have, like, it's like a whole thing. But
you're not a Mormon?
I'm not a Mormon.
Oh, fuck! I can't be friends with you anymore.
Right? Shit.
Any Mormon.
Any Mormon. You should go see the Book of Mormon. It's really good.
I want to. Josh Gad.
It's hilarious. Anyway, so they sealed themselves with no authorization, stating that their spouses will understand because they have been married before in past lives. So their spouses will understand. I'm still not understanding why they couldn't get divorced, but it might come clear a little bit later. So anyway, it's February 2019 at this point, and Charles, Lori's husband, is pushing for a divorce, and Lori is not wanting it. Again, she doesn't clarify why. He claims Lori threatened to kill him if he got in her way, and her agenda...
Because he wanted to divorce her?
Nope. Nope, because he claims Lori threatened to kill him if he got in her way of her agenda to prepare for the second coming.
Oh.
That's in court documents that he actually stated. That's like he was scared for his life.
How does oh my god.
Yep. And she transferred, and this is also why he claimed, and she transferred $35,000 of the couple's money to an unknown bank account. But he later drops the charge. Like, he later drops the suit. Like, he drops, like, getting the divorce filing and everything else. And attempts to reconcile.
Be killed.
Well, he attempts to reconcile, like, with his wife. So, fucking
Great, now he's brainwashed.
Right. Or he's just, like, whatever he said to her. So, fast forward, and on July 11th, he is shot and killed by Lori's brother, Alex Cox. The husband is. Shot and killed. He was coming to pick up JJ, the son, and the claim is self-defense, and charges are never filed.
What?
So Lori claims Charles was coming to kill her. And and Alex Cox is Lori's brother. And apparently, according to Melanie, Alex Cox was also kind of in the religion as well. And she claims that Alex would have done anything. Again, nothing is proven yet. Again, it's such an open case. But this is her speculation that Alex would have done anything for his sister. And he was fully in this religion and everything else. So if she claimed that he was going to come and kill her because of A, B, C, and D, which I'll explain that here in a minute, like what she believed and why she claimed it was self-defense here in a minute. But right now, that's what it is. So Alex shot him, like, I think, like, right in the head. Great. So, perfect. Also, apparently, Lori's property manager claimed neighbors reported a pool party at Lori's house later that day with loud music and lots of people swimming. So she seemed really broken up about her husband being dead.
Just a regular old Carol Baskin.
Right. So it should be said that Lori had a vision, or whatever, that Charles was going to die in a car accident. He didn't. So anytime some vision wouldn't come to fruition, Chad, the person that, again, Lori was sleeping with, or allegedly sleeping with, but I mean, honestly, they were fucking having an affair. Chad would give some bullshit answer of why it didn't happen. So maybe she pushed to see, she planted maybe some seeds in maybe Alex's ear. Again, this is all, she could be innocent. I don't know. Like, nothing has happened. No trial has happened. But this is maybe what Melanie is thinking, that that Alex would do anything for his sister. So if Alex was feeding him some bullshit thing and apparently also, the husband, Charles, had a life insurance policy of $1 million.
Oh my fucking God.
But it wasn't found out by Lori until after he died that Charles had transferred his beneficiary rights or whatever to his sister. So his sister, Kay, had that, but she didn't know that.
Oh.
So he died and then she didn't get anything.
Well.
Yep. But it was fruition. It was whatever. But I'll tell you why she felt like it was self-defense here in a minute. So, I mean, it's kind of a crazy story. So, So Chad wants her to move up to Idaho, like, ASAP. And Lori books it up there and states that she had a vision that his wife, Tammy, so Chad is married to a woman named Tammy. Tammy will be dead by the time she moves up there. So she has this vision that Tammy's now going to be dead. It's August at this point.
Do you have these visions and then you just fucking execute them?
Right? That's what I'm thinking.
Execute your visions?
Literally. So, however, she didn't die. But she still moved up there with JJ and Taylor allegedly. And they just continued their affair. Around September of 2019.
Why do you want to live your life like this?
Right? I don't get it either. Like, just divorce him. Like, just leave. I'm sure he'd been like, okay, goodbye now. I don't give a fuck. So around September 2019, her friend Melanie, the one that is being interviewed, comes to visit her and JJ. And JJ is there, but there's no Taylor. There's no Taylor at all. She doesn't see her or anything like that. So Lori claims that she's at BYU in Idaho. She's 17 at the time. So she has her GED, so she apparently graduated early, like at 16 with her GED. So it's plausible. It's totally plausible. But it doesn't sit right with Melanie. But she doesn't question it. She doesn't question Lori. But there's something that she says it just feels off.
She kind of listened to her gut.
Right. So this is again
she knew
about
it was off.
Her gut. So
she knew it was off.
So this is where it gets kind of weirder. So Lori confides to Melanie that JJ has turned into a zombie. actually a day before Melanie got there. So what's a zombie? So again, this is from Chad's teachings. In a nutshell, it's like a mini possession. A person takes on the identity of either a demon, a disembodied spirit, or a worm/slug that has attached itself to a person and now controls the person. That's what they believe.
The slug.
The slug. So actually, Chad
Which is your fucked up thoughts, basically?
100%.
Okay, got it.
So Chad actually called Lori earlier in the year and told her that her husband Charles was a zombie and sometimes they have names, and apparently
he is a fucking fuck.
Yeah, so apparently Chad's name now was Ned Snyder. That was the zombie that took over him. Like, this story is fucking weird.
His name is now Turd Ferguson, and he has taken over the body.
Done and done.
So, now you really got to get rid of him. Now you can't,
100%. So it's one of the missions of the group to get rid of zombies before the second coming. And weirdly, people that would disagree with Lori or Chad would just automatically become zombies. So, yeah. There's that.
Wow.
Melanie states that they would pray in the portal to get rid of these zombies. I'm sure that 100% worked.
No, but then they just killed them
They just would kill them with their guns because it wouldn't work. And they had to. They had to kill the zombies because Jesus would know. Okay? That's how they had to do it. So, yeah. So just when you take that information
people need some self-fucking esteem and some, like, self-love.
So, again, when Melanie Melanie believes, like, so that since Lori believed Charles, her ex-husband, her deceased ex-husband, was a zombie, she believes that it could be a potential that Alex killed him because Lori claimed that he was going to come and kill her because he was a zombie, and that she was up on, like, that celestial ladder that all the zombies wanted to get her because they were sent from the devil. I mean, these people are fucking bananas. So that
this literally sounds like Bobby Boucher's mom's book of fucking Mormon,
right?
Like, what?
So Alex killed Charles, at least in theory, in Melanie's head, and in the theory that's out there, that he killed her. Like, it wouldn't be out of the realm if his sister Lori, Alex's sister Lori, told him, like, oh my God, Charles is gonna kill me because he's a zombie and I'm, like, such a righteous person, and that he wants to kill the light. That you need to do this for me, and you need to, it's not proven yet. It's not proven. But Melanie says, like, it wouldn't be so off our base if he did it because he believed he was protecting his sister. So, but it was in self-defense. Anyway, so that's just where that is.
Oh my fuck.
So, anyway, again, nothing has been proven. Nobody is charged yet or anything like that. So, anyway, during the same visit with Lori, the same visit, like, that Lori tells Melanie that JJ is, like, So, anyway, during the same visit, Lori also tells Melanie that JJ is going to Kay Woodcock, who is JJ's grandmother. Also, technically, Charles was JJ's uncle. So, Charles, the one that died, Lori's husband, and JJ's father is not technically his father, and Lori is not technically his mother. So they adopted him. Oh. He was born to one of Kay's sons who couldn't care for him just because I think it was just a bad situation. So Charles and Lori adopted him. And Taylor is actually just Lori's child from a previous marriage. And actually Taylor's father is dead, but just due to a heart attack. And that is
sure.
Yeah, right. So anyway,
sure he is. Just kidding.
Okay.
I respect you, sir.
Who knows?
Rest in peace.
Right? Who knows? So Melanie leaves Idaho with the knowledge that JJ is going to his grandmother's, and she doesn't think anything of it. She's not questioning. Like, what is she? She just like, oh yeah, you believe in some stuff, and I believe it kind of it too. But what is she gonna do? She doesn't question anything. She doesn't see Taylor, but Taylor is supposedly just at college, and technically it's plausible just because she does have her GED. Technically, she could be at college.
Wait, but it's still not plausible. as of right now, it's not plausible.
No,
right?
no. But like at the time, but in
was.
September, she's like, okay, I guess that makes sense because like maybe.
Okay.
So on September 8th of 2019, Taylor, JJ, Lori, and Alex visit Yellowstone National Park, and that's kind of been a hotbed of like, because it's the last place that Taylor is seen in a picture, and the same thing with JJ, I believe.
Wow, they were in Yellowstone?
They were in Yellowstone.
There's a lot of shit. Mm-hmm. You could just be throwing a fucking geyser and you're gone for good.
Right, so Taylor, JJ, Lori, and Alex. So Alex, the guy that killed Lori's husband, is there. And again, this is a brother that would do anything for his sister, according to Melanie. So officials say that this is the last time anyone has seen Taylor. I'm sorry, not Taylor. Taylor. The FBI asked for anyone who has like maybe photos that day of the park. So September 8th, if you've were at Yellowstone, you saw something weird, have a photo, send it to whatever. Which I'll give you the information of where to send that at the very end.
When was I in Yellowstone?
Did you take pictures? Were you really?
I was fucking in Yellowstone last September.
Shut the fuck up.
For Chris's best friend's fucking wedding.
Was it the 8th?
Was it in September? I don't remember. No, it was...
The 5th
no,
of
it was
November.
the end.
Oh,
okay.
So it was September, but still, that's relevant. Holy crap! Anyway,
I saw her in the mud pits.
Oh, poor baby. I honestly feel like they're both there. Both those babies
I almost
are there.
was lost in Yellowstone one time, but not because my parents killed me.
Oh, well, that's good.
I was looking at a moose and I left the camper without my family knowing, and they almost drove off.
Perfect.
And I was 5, and I vividly remember that moment. Very vividly.
Oh my god, that's terrifying.
I was maybe 6.
You were like Joe Dirt.
I was. Mm-hmm. And then I looked and I was like, Dad! And he was like, and then I couldn't go in the camper for the rest of the time unless anyone else was in there. Anyways, that's my Yellowstone story. Back to crime.
That's a cute story.
It is terrifying.
So on October 1st of 2019, Lori Vallow rents a 10 by 10 storage unit from Storage Plus in Rexburg, Idaho. Surveillance cameras at the facility show her and a man associated with her, so maybe Alex, visited the unit 9 times in October and once in November. Often the man, who appears to be Alex Cox, her brother, came alone. So there's that. Are they
in the storage unit? Just kidding.
They're not, unfortunately.
They're definitely.
I mean, not unfortunately, but sadly, they're not. We still don't know where they're at. So October 9th, Tammy, what's her face's wife, Chad's wife, calls 911 and says a masked man shot at her with a paintball gun. She wrote about her experience on a Facebook post, saying that she has no idea what the motive was. 10 days later, the family called 911 saying Tammy was dead and she had died in her sleep. At the home. Detectives visited the home. Investigators ruled the death as natural. Tammy was buried at the Evergreen Cemetery in Springsville, Idaho, on October 22nd of 2019. The family held a memorial service in Rexburg the following day. A friend of Taylor told the Post Register, or registrar, whatever hell you ever say it, she received a text message from Taylor's number on October 25th. The newspaper reports the text read, "Hi, miss you guys too, love ya." However, they believe also that the text wasn't from Taylor. It was somebody acting like Taylor, like she was still alive. The Rexburg police said in the news release that within weeks of Tammy's death, her husband Chad and Lori were married. So there's that.
Wow, you guys are some shady motherfuckers.
Not even attempting to cover it up. The couple married in Hawaii on November 5th before returning to Rexburg. Over the coming weeks, Rexburg police say Chad told witnesses that Lori had no minor children. Police also say Lori told police Taylor died years ago. So, yeah. They're not,
you guys are fucked.
They're sloppy as fuck.
They're super sloppy.
And the reason why is that in what's her face's Melanie's interview, she states that they were so convinced that the world was going to be ending on July. They believe it's going to be ending on July 20 something, on 20th of 2020, but all these other things were going to be happening that they weren't going to even notice what was going on.
July 20th.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we keep in mind.
Put the earmark in. But she claimed that there was going to be like an earthquake that was going to happen in November or some shit, which didn't happen. And that would take away from her and Chad getting married. So all of this it's all done really sloppily because they believe that all this other stuff was going to be happening, that it was going to take their eyes off of what was going on. What, like the world's eyes or the police eyes, is like that they didn't think that it was gonna matter. Dead serious. Dead fucking serious.
What fucking loonies.
Yeah.
Well,
but of course
the
earthquake didn't. Yeah, the earthquake didn't happen. So, but honestly, in my heart of hearts, I think those kids are in Yellowstone, unfortunately. But anyway, so
maybe that's when the earthquake will happen in Yellowstone.
Don't, because the
27 will die. Oh my god,
that'd be horrible. Yes.
Seriously, what is happening?
So Thanksgiving rolls around. Chad instructs Melanie to not pick. This is again the girl who is being interviewed. Chad instructs Melanie to not pick up the phone when the police call. But how the fuck would you know when the police were calling? I don't really understand that. But okay, I guess it's 911. I shouldn't call. Pick it up.
Yeah, I don't think 911 calls you.
No, and I'm pretty sure that doesn't just show up as the police department, but whatever. Chad informs her that the police are checking in on Lori looking for JJ. Like, and apparently like he's fucking like sweating bullets. As what like Melanie is saying, like he's freaking out on the phone at her, like he's nervous. She can tell that he's really nervous. And then he tells her that Lori will be telling the police that JJ was with her, Melanie. He claims Kay is trying to kidnap JJ. So what Melanie left when she left Idaho, she was like, oh no, Lori's willingly giving JJ to Kay. But now all of a sudden Kay is trying to kidnap JJ.
What in the actual fuck?
It's just so weird. So Lori gets on the phone and is claiming everything is fine, and all she is doing is protecting JJ because everybody wants him. So
what are these people doing?
She's bananas.
Everyone wants him.
Everybody wants him. So she's asking her to fake photos, like go to a movie theater, like a crowded movie theater, and like take pictures of like kids running around, and then just like give those to police to say that she was with JJ, but kind of like make it seem like she was with JJ. It's very weird. And yeah, so Lori then tells her
this lady's fucking
she's fucked up. Yeah. So Lori then tells her that for Melanie's and JJ's safety, she can't tell her where he is. So there's that.
So they're missing, but she could be hiding one of them.
Yes. She says that she's hiding. She's saying that because JJ is only 7, that she's saying that Taylor is like in BYU. So JJ is the only one that needs to be taken care of, right? So she's saying, but like she's like, I can't tell you where he's at. So she's telling her, but she's like, but I need you to fake these things for the police. So it's like you have him. So she's asking her friend, and I think she probably thinks like it's a follower, so she'll just do whatever blindly. Yeah. And this Melanie girl was like, you can go fuck yourself. Good. I don't think she initially said that, but after like a little bit, she sat with it. She's like, this doesn't seem right. And then eventually she just parts ways with them because she's like, this just doesn't seem right to me. Like, you are on a dangerous dark path, and I don't know where you're going, but I don't want to go with you. So leave me alone. And the reason why that welfare check was called was because JJ's grandparents, and they're not Taylor's grandparents at all, but so JJ's grandparents were trying to do, they had like a 30-second FaceTime call with him back in August, and it just cuts out, and they hadn't heard from him since. So that's why the police were called to go check up on him. So anyway, court documents indicate that on December 1st of 2019, Chad and Lori get on an American Airlines flight to Hawaii, to the island of Kauai, and the couple did not fly with the children. The deputies uncovered more details. The Fremont County Sheriff's Department began calling Tammy's death like suspicious, and actually investigators exhumed Tammy's body on December 11th to perform an autopsy in Utah. Those results are pending, and they say like it could be like a year before we get results. Oh my god! So we don't know. Damn. So again, like this,
where did they find her body?
their body, Tammy, who was buried, she was died of natural causes.
Tammy.
Yeah, they exhumed her, and they still won't know full results until a year from now.
So she never got an autopsy?
They ruled it as natural causes. They didn't know. But now, since all this is unfolding...
Don't you always take an autopsy, or do you have to order one?
No, I think if they feel like it's, like, not suicide, or if it's... if it's, like, natural causes... I don't know if it's...
If they feel...
They can feel like that or something like that. I'm not sure. Somehow it was ruled natural causes, so they didn't need an autopsy. Which is bizarre, right?
That is weird.
So anyway, but that's still pending. So again, like, it's super new. So on December 12th, Alex, the brother of Lori, dies under mysterious circumstances in Gilbert, Arizona.
So everyone in their life is
right.
Mysteriously dying or disappearing.
So little is known about his death
while they're just getting married in Hawaii.
Right. So little is known about his death as investigators await results from an ongoing autopsy. As of right now, the cause of death is blood clots in the lungs. As of right now. But it's still, like, everyone is, like, the police department is remaining very tight-lipped about what they're finding. So again, super new. So on December 20th, the Rexburg police went public on their search for JJ and Taylor. Police also say the children's disappearance is possible linked to the suspicious death of Tammy. Duh. The following day,
good job, guys.
Right. But I think that's why they're keeping that. Like, that's why they exhumed her body. The following day, police then called Chad and Lori persons of interest in the kids' disappearance. So, 2020. So, on January 3rd, the Rexburg Police Department and FBI searched Chad and Tammy's home in Idaho. On January 25th, local authorities locate Chad and Lori in Kauai, and serve Lori with a court order requiring her to produce the children within 5 days. That court appearance on January 30th comes and goes, and she just misses the court-ordered deadline to produce JJ and Taylor. February 10th, CBS News reports police found Taylor's cell phone with Lori's belongings in Hawaii. So she probably was the one that said that text message. Yep. And in February 20th, Lori is arrested finally in Kauai and charged with 2 felony counts of desertion and non-support of dependent children. So that's her charges right now. On March 9th, Lori remains in jail being held on a $1 million bond. Local bail bonds companies declined to work with her. Thank God.
Good.
And as of right now, Chad has no charges against him. Her niece, they believe, it goes back and forth. Certain stories say she was with the this cultish kind of thing with the cult, but maybe she's not. She's actually in her own custody battle with her own children, with her most recent divorce. But she claims that the children are still alive, that she claims that Lori would never do anything to hurt them.
And this is Melanie?
This is a different Melanie, so there's 2 different Melanies.
Oh.
So her niece Melanie and her friend Melanie wants nothing to do with her, and she actually legitimately doesn't know where those children are. She believes the children are not on this earth anymore. The niece claims that the kids are alive, that she doesn't know where they are. She says maybe
she's brainwashed.
Maybe they're in a bunker, but she's she doesn't believe that her aunt Lori would do anything to hurt those children. But there's also discrepancies that says especially with these zombies, with they're in their brain, in Chad and Lori's brain, that they're just we have to get rid of all the zombies. And there's other emails that have passed back and forth that said that Taylor and JJ were zombies, so technically so they might need to die. So Melanie,
and this all started with fucking Chad.
Yep.
And saying that they had past lives together.
100%. So this is somebody's ego saying I just want to fucking bang this girl. Who knows? I could be being nasty or whatever, but to me, that's what that says to me. Is he's manipulated a religion and taken advantage of something, and it's gotten way out of hand. And where it's killing people.
Because nothing's ever happened to him. He's not being held accountable. So why the fuck would he stop?
Because technically, this is all kind of in ties with Lori. Yes, he might get charges in respect to
he's smart.
Tammy.
He's brainwashing her, so she gets all the fucking shit if shit goes wrong.
Right.
He's a smart guy.
She could technically even be charged in Tammy's death because it all looks like she's orchestrating all of this.
She is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chad's just
she's claiming like he's a god and everything else, but she's. Oh, I feel like if in claiming like I have to keep my children away from whatever because they whatever, but at the same time they're zombies, so I need to kill them. So Melanie, the friend that detached herself from them, is thinking that they're not alive anymore, that they're probably dead.
Holy shit.
JJ is 7 years old, so this is like if you do have any information, like I don't know, maybe you know somebody, I don't know. So JJ is a 7-year-old boy with brown hair and brown eyes. He is 4 feet tall and weighs 50 pounds. Taylor is a 17-year-old with blonde hair and blue eyes. She is 5 feet tall and weighs 160 pounds. Anyone with information regarding the whereabouts of the children is asked to contact the Rexburg Police Department at 208-359-3000 or the National Children for Missing and Exploited Children at 800-THE LOST. So, there you have it. Fuck. And it's a super open case, but I feel like it was a case that was really gaining momentum before coronavirus happened. Because, I mean, everyone was like, why the fuck has this bitch not have been, like, arrested yet? It doesn't make any sense. Like, she's not producing the fucking kids, and she's still not producing them, and we have no idea where they're at.
And how is that okay?
Yeah.
How are we not getting...
My guess is probably I don't think those kids are alive. I think they're probably gone. And they're probably in Yellowstone. And like you said, they could be just, I mean, if Alex really was super loyal, I mean, and maybe it wasn't Alex, I don't know. But they could have just been, like you said, disposed in a geyser and they're gone.
And then he died after that?
He died after that, yes. He died of blood clots. But again, they're reinvestigating that and they're remaining very tight-lipped about what they're finding. So.
God damn shit.
I know. So that one was a little different, but I've been fascinated by it.
Fucking crime. That is fascinating.
I've been very fascinated about that whole story because I'm like, how can this bitch get away with this? I don't understand these poor babies. So, and again, because they were
wild fucking story.
They were zombies, so they had to go.
You gotta get rid of the zombies.
But honestly, I think she wanted to get rid of her kids and get rid of everything and just start this new life with Chad. That's what I think.
Why don't you just kill yourself
and
get it over with?
Seriously.
Just kidding.
And you guys go have another past life with each other.
Yeah, and then you can just start a new life together.
That's how you feel about it.
You guys just like have a joint suicide.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But I'm wondering, I'm wondering too, like if it's like, I don't know the Mormon faith. I don't know if it's a thing. Like, do they believe? Is it like Catholic where they don't really believe in divorce? So
probably
is the Mormon. So that's how they felt like. And was I'm wondering if what's her face? I mean, Melanie, her friend, said that Lori didn't want a divorce because she just didn't want to go through that again. So I guess she wanted to kill him instead. Or get that money. I don't know. Again, this is all open. Like, nobody's been charged. She hasn't been on trial yet.
Keep our ears open for that.
Seriously. So, I just thought this one was pretty fascinating. So
that's really fucking fascinating.
So again,
fucking weird.
Yeah. So hopefully those kids are okay. But I have a feeling that they're probably not on this earth anymore, unfortunately. So, and these poor grandparents that are JJ's grandparents, and they're fighting for Taylor too because she is, she's a child still and everything else.
And they're probably like, these motherfucking loonies that have our grandchildren.
They just want to know what happened. That's all they want to know. They just want to know what happened. So, anyway, so that's my story.
Fuck.
The end.
Well, that was a good one.
Yeah, sorry. That was
double fucking dose of crime.
What?
Always a good time with double dose of crime.
Always a good time with double dose of crime.
Always. Welp.
Always.
Should we record this?
We can. What do you think?
Maybe we don't record the outro.
Okay, that's fine.
Because then they won't know. Because then it won't be as confusing. Like, all right, so this is what's on next week, but then it's not in for 2 weeks. That's in 3 weeks.
That's true. Okay, we won't record it. We'll just do intros. We'll just do intros. Okay. Are we ready to go?
All right, guys, we're ready to roll.
Or do you want to do your shout out
I'll do my shout out that you guys love to hear.
I'll mix it up real good.
If you follow us on Instagram, thank you. And if you don't follow us on Instagram, what?
What? That doesn't make it.
I don't know. I said, thanks for following us on Instagram. If you don't, you should follow us.
Perfect.
At 30ish, THUR, DISH.
Sweet.
DISH.
Are we part
Just figure out how to spell ish. Okay, bish. Also, if you feel inclined and you listen on Apple, or if you have Apple and you want to leave us a little review showing us some love, we would love that. Because that gets more people to be able to see it, but also the only review won't be the
The car one, like, you dumb bitches.
I literally, like, I need to be a better driver because every time I do something wrong, I'm like, fuck, they're going to hate my podcast. They're going to just.
That's hilarious.
Because I'm like, fuck. But I catch myself doing that a lot. So I'm like, I need to not be such a freak when I drive, probably. But anyways, also, again, I want to try to I've started a little 30-ish playlist. And if you guys have any, like, send us your favorite 90s and 80s songs, whatever genre.
Yeah.
Just the songs that literally made your fucking life.
Do it.
Do it. I'll post something about that this week too.
Okay.
So people can
Sweet.
do it because the episode that came out. What? Anyways, forget it.
Okay.
You guys understand. So now it's time to roll. Thanks for joining us today. Let's see what we got. Shay's up first. Here we go. 5. History?
I feel like it might be history. What is it? Sorry, guys. Every time. What did I do to 5? Let's see what it is. 1, 2, 3. God damn it.
Science!
Yeah.
It's science!
Son of a bitch.
Do you want to re-roll?
No.
Just kidding. I want history. One is pop culture nostalgia.
I think it's pop culture nostalgia. It is. That's a fun one. That'll be good for you. You haven't done that one in a while.
We have not done nostalgia or pop culture.
I've always get it. You never get it.
I never get it.
So this will be a good one for you.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm
Science
excited.
for me. I get the book report. God damn it.
I am. But I was thinking
It's
about
helping
this
me
too.
grow.
It's like we're redoing school. Like, you know, there's subjects you don't like, but you got to do them and you'll figure out, you'll find something you like. If you really dive deep.
It's true.
And if you listen to your gut.
Can't cheat on my neighbor this time. Maybe I should talk about like the river currents, the science of river currents.
The signs of why the fuck you don't go in the water.
That's a good one.
When the river's high.
I might do that actually.
You should.
Mm-hmm.
Just around
PSA
the river
again.
bend.
It's true.
Beyond the shore. What?
I don't know if that's
Frozen.
That's Frozen. I don't know.
It's Frozen now.
Whatever.
We combined them. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us today.
You're the best.
You are the best, and we love you. Mm-hmm. And we thank you for making our dreams come true.
Love up.
And go drink Topo Chico. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.